So the last training that I did, I talked about lead generation tools. And so today I'm going to talk about basically what to do when you get a lead, how to work all of your contacts, whether they're just online leads that you don't know personally, whether it's people in your sphere of influence that you want to keep making contact with. So multiple different tools that I'll talk about today, but it all has to do with keeping in contact with your people. So the first thing that I do want to touch on is the client profile. So when you get a new lead, this is kind of going back to the basics, but I do just like to mention because if you're not in KV Core all the time, sometimes it's hard to remember where to find like the initial lead information, where they came from, what they're requesting. So let me go in here just for sake of example. So you can always click into your client's profile, and this is within your smart CRM. I guess I didn't point out where I went. So the smart CRM, which if it were up to me, I would just call this contacts. And then you can click on all contacts. I have a couple different things going on here, but this will bring up your contacts, and then your latest lead, it should by default sort to the most recent leads that you've gotten. So your most recent ones should be at the top, but you can also sort by last name, first name, phone number, status, all kinds of stuff. And then when you open up your client, over here on the left, you will see some basic information here, like the source. So I manually added this one, but if it came in from maybe a squeeze page that you created, like I talked about at the last training, or maybe it just came in from your website, them doing a home search. So that'll show the source over here. It'll have a star rating for the insights based on like how much they're searching on your website, what they're doing, their activity. So it'll kind of show like how interested the client is based on that star rating. And you can also scroll all the way down to the very bottom, and the first thing here, the first few things here will show the first activity. So since this was manually assigned or manually added by me, obviously it just shows contact assigned, but for example, if this client were to request information on a specific property, it would list that information down here. And so since then, I've done a couple different things. So you can just see the timeline of things, when an email was sent, any notes that you might add, anytime the market reports got sent out or a listing valuation got sent out, which those are some of the tools I am going to talk about today. But all the activity that ever happens is in this middle part here. And then you can always change the status up here from new lead to active lead. If they respond back to you after initially coming into your CRM, it will automatically switch them to active. And these statuses are pretty important, having to do with the smart campaigns that I'm going to talk about next. But I just wanted to show you how you can come in here and view the initial lead information when you get a lead. So the status is, like I said, the smart campaigns are running based on the status. So when you get a new lead, whether it was like a company lead that was randomly assigned to you that you accepted, a lead off of your website, a lead that came in through a squeeze page, it's always going to come in as new lead. And so the smart campaigns, it's good to be aware of what they're saying, that they are running, that KV Core is sending things out on your behalf unless you go and turn that off. So that is going to be under marketing here on the left, and you'll go into smart campaigns. Now, most of your leads that you get typically are going to be buyers. And so I'm going to show you that campaign. That campaign is basically just a series of texts to the client, emails to the client, and then reminders for you to also personally, manually contact them. And it has, as you can see here, this third one down, it has 43 different touch points over the course of 2 years. And so even if this person never responds to you, I think it's good to just let KV Core keep sending things. And then I'll show you some additional tools that you can also use to keep in contact with them. But I read a stat that said for online leads, when it comes to just random people online requesting and searching for properties, it actually takes up to 18 months on average for them to actually transact. So I would say, even if someone never responds to you, that's a lead that you don't know, just let KV Core do the work in the background for you, because you just never know who's on the other end of that, what their timeline is. And if you continue to send them valuable information, they hopefully will reach out when they're ready. So that's the nice thing about these smart campaigns. But depending on how you run your business, you may or may not want these campaigns to go out. You might want to create your own campaigns. You might want to just completely turn it off and leave it up to yourself to reach out, however you want to do it. So I'm going to click into this new lead buyer campaign, and we can see right here the series of things that go out. So immediately it's going to remind you to text them. So we see the method is a task. So anytime you see task, that's going to be something that shows up in your notifications to remind you to do something. Then it's immediately going to prompt you to call them and leave a voicemail. And then 7 minutes after they come into your CRM, a text goes out that says, hey, thanks for visiting my website. Just curious, are you an investor or are you looking to purchase right now? No, actually, I'm sorry. That's the second text that goes out. The first text that goes out is, hey, thanks for visiting my website. I just wanted to check and see if you are just browsing right now or if you're ready to purchase. And so that text does tend to get a lot of responses. You guys may have seen that, that says, hey, I am just browsing right now. And so sometimes people, you'll kind of get an idea of where they're at just based on that first text that KV Core sends out. The email, let's see, if I click edit, does it show me what the email is? So the next day it'll send an email. Thanks for checking out my site. It'll insert your site in there. And then kind of the same thing. Are you looking to buy soon or are you just browsing at this point? And so it just kind of goes on from there. On day 2, it'll prompt you to call and not leave a voicemail. The second day asks about if they're an investor and so on. You get an email, a couple texts in here, and just continuing to follow up. So you can take this campaign, you could take any campaign you saw the list in there before I clicked into this one. You can actually come in and, for one, turn it off. If you don't want these messages being sent, just toggle this blue button off. But you can also clone it. So cloning it would be taking this campaign and then being able to edit what the messages say. Now, I do have edit buttons right here because I'm an admin, so I can edit what they say, but you as an agent, this will just say view. So that's when you want to go in and clone the campaign, and then you can kind of make it your own. So you do have to set up the campaign logic. So you want the campaign to start when the lead is new. You want it to be based on the status, new lead, but you can add all kinds of triggers. And this is a good example too for if you want to create campaigns for your closed clients or your current clients right now. You can do all kinds of stuff with these campaigns and have all kinds of triggers. So you could have it where the lead is in a specific status. You can assign people to your lenders. You can, when an email gets sent, when a hashtag is added. So maybe you want a hashtag, buyer in Fort Wayne or whatever it is, then you can set up a campaign specifically for buyers in Fort Wayne or buyers for lakes. There's so many different things you can do. So you have lots of different stuff to start it. And then you can also, hold on, let me do hashtag. When hashtag is, and then you would select your hashtag. Or when the status is new lead, active lead, client, closed. So you get the gist. There's lots of stuff that you can do. And then let's see, hold on. Oh, lead is new. That's what I need to select. You can also add a specific source. So when a lead is new from X source, like a squeeze page, then you say this campaign is designed for buyers, seller, renter, vendor, agents, or all. And then you can just name your campaign, write a description. This is really just for your reference if you want to remember what this specific campaign is set up for. And then always run would be this campaign trumps all other campaigns. So I would just leave these both defaulted as no, unless you know for sure you want everybody to receive this campaign. And then you just review your information and finish it. And then once you do that, then you can come in here. It has all the current things that the last campaign did. You can go in and remove them. You can edit. For example, this text, you could come in and say, okay, I just want to change this verbiage, which I guess it's not showing up for me right now. It should. And then you can change the timeline of it. There's the time unit down here. So right now it's 7 minutes. You could change it to 10 or 20, whatever you want to do. So that's just an example of how to create your own campaigns or clone them. If you wanted to start completely from scratch, it's the same process I just showed you with choosing the campaign logic. But again, that would just be under Smart Campaigns, and then you would click up here in the corner, Add Campaign. So there's all kinds of campaigns for every status, every client type. And so there's even like a default homeowner one for your sphere of influence for previous sellers that you've had. This has 18 different touch points over the course of a year, I believe. Let's see. Oh no, over the course of like, what would that be? 3 years? I don't even know. So you can come in here and play around with these, but these smart campaigns are a really great way to kind of automate your contacts with everybody, whether it's automatic text going out, automatic emails. A lot of these are built really well, but then, like I said, you can clone them and make them in your own, or just completely start from scratch. And this is kind of a bigger project. I know not very many people dive into that, but it is a very powerful tool. You could even use ChatGPT to come up with verbiage for all of your stuff if you do want to completely start from scratch or rewrite it. But I would say, especially for like the new lead buyers, the default closed clients, if you want to toggle that on, and then that way when you mark someone closed, it'll just follow up with them every other month for a year. And then it will actually automatically switch them to the sphere status. So then you could have a whole other campaign for your sphere of influence, or the homeowner sphere would take over by then too. So lots of options here. And if you guys have questions about that, let me know. I know it's kind of a bigger project that some people might not want to mess with, but it is there. But ultimately, just be aware that all these ones that are blue in your account are active and running for that specific status. So just be aware of what the new lead buyer one says, because that's going to be your most common one. And it's going to be texting and emailing people. And also, as a side note, it always gives them the option to opt out. So if the client or the lead is sick of getting these messages, it does have a little thing that says reply stop to unsubscribe. So that is an option, and they can simply just say stop to stop getting the messages. Now, every once in a while, I do have people ask me, how can they unsubscribe the client? Because sometimes the client will call them and say, stop contacting me. So let me show you where that is in case you ever get into that situation. So you'll go back to your Smart CRM and go into your contact. And then that is going to be under more actions. You can then unsubscribe them from emails, unsubscribe from texts, or you can even archive or delete the contact altogether. And, sometimes there is just complete straight up spam that you can always delete or archive as well. But there was one other thing. Oh, so a lot of times, it might make sense to also turn off behavioral alerts, because if you're actively working with a client, and you have a working relationship with them, I would actually turn off the behavioral alerts. Those are really great for leads that you've never personally talked to, or maybe you've only talked to a couple times. But behavioral alerts are like when they go and visit your website, I think it's after 14 days. If they haven't visited your website after 2 weeks and they go and visit it again, like look at a property, click on whatever search alerts they're doing, it will actually send a text to them. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It'll actually text them and say, "Thanks for visiting my website. I can't even think of the exact verbiage it is, but is there anything I can help you with?" Something along those lines. So those are great for new leads, but someone that you're actively working with that you just talked to yesterday, and then they just happen to click on something on remax.com, it might seem a little confusing to them. So that is an option to turn off the behavioral alerts. And just so you guys are aware of that. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, so that's kind of the basics of getting new leads, where to find the information, what goes out as far as the smart campaigns. Now, kind of tagging on to the last training about all the lead generation tools. If you do a squeeze page, which I don't know that Darla or Judy, I don't know if you guys were a part of that last training. So, this information might not make sense, but there is a lead generation tool called a squeeze page, that basically allows you to squeeze people into your database by creating these special links that I always use the example of new listings in Fort Wayne, or check out this list of listings that have a pool for under 300K or something like that. I mean, you can make it any criteria that you want. And so what these links do is people can click on them, and after they view a few listings, it'll ask them to register to see the whole list, and then that creates a lead for you. And so I used the example last week, which I want to point out again today, of when you have leads come in through those squeeze pages, it'll automatically add a hashtag that you assign to them. So when you set up the link, you can say, when new leads come in with from this squeeze page, hashtag them Fort Wayne new listings. That way, this is someone who is interested in looking at new listings in Fort Wayne. So let's say you have all these people, let's say you got 5 leads from that link and their hashtag new leads Fort Wayne. And then a few weeks later, you get a new listing in Fort Wayne. So what you can do is go to your contacts and filter here. This whole section right here allows you to filter your contacts. So you can look at all the people with new lead status or all your buyers. But in this case, we'll say, I don't know that I saved any contacts with this hashtag. Fort Wayne new listings. Yeah, I didn't. Well, let's say we enter the hashtag, whatever hashtag that applied to your new leads from the squeeze page, and then it's gonna bring up, let me just for example, do this. Come on. Okay, so I have 4 leads with the criteria that I put in here. So what I'm gonna do is select this check mark right here to select all of them. And then I'm gonna go under more actions. And, oh, sorry, no, not more actions. I'm gonna click this email button right here in front of my eyes. And then I can mass email these people about my new listing because I already know based on the squeeze page that they clicked on that they are interested in Fort Wayne homes. So you can come in here and just do like this basic text, or you can toggle on the advanced editor here. And what's really cool about the advanced editor, I've talked about it before, but you can kind of drag and drop content in here. So you can drag and drop an image, browse your computer, upload a photo of the home. But I love this dynamic content, this tile here right in the middle. If you click and drag that, this allows you to do a number of things, but one of them being just inserting your listing directly into the email. So it defaults to a schedule a showing button. So you could even do that where you enter a picture of the house and then just add a schedule a showing button. But when you click on the dynamic content, you can see all the different options that it will allow you to just insert. So I could, do view listing button. You could, do main listing image that's clickable so they can just see the image and click on it. You can do a couple different listings, like a triple listing image that shows 3 different listings at once. And so what you do once you have your view listing button or whatever you want to make it, then up here at the top, this is where you would choose a listing. So I'm just going to select one of these at random. And then let's see, I thought there was a preview button here. I really thought there was. Maybe I'm thinking of what I use for the internal emails for the company. But you can send a test up here in the top left, so you can at least see what it would look like. So if you just want to, grab a photo of a house, I don't know if I have any photos already uploaded in my library. Obviously, you would have your listing photo. I don't know. I'm just gonna add this as sake of example. We'll pretend that flag is a house. So you have the picture of your house and then the view listing button. And then, you can always add like text about the home, number of beds, baths, all of that. You could insert a video. Maybe you have a video tour of the home that you could insert into the email. All kinds of stuff that you can add in here. So then you can send a test, kind of see what it looks like, and then those will have the links and the pictures for your listing that are sent out to people you already know are interested. So that's a really good way to utilize the hashtags for new leads that you generate, and then keep in contact with them using the mass emails. And of course, you can use the mass emails for just send a whole mass email out to your whole database. And I did do a training on that for the scheduled mass emails. There's a way to schedule these out. And it is actually in a different section. So if you want to send one immediately right away, that's where you just come in and select all your contacts or filter them and then select and click email. Otherwise, marketing, if you go into all marketing, there is a scheduled mass email tile right here as well. And that is the same process with using the advanced email editor. You can do that, but then you just choose a date and time for the email to go out. And I have actually created templates, if anyone doesn't know, for all the holidays, quarterly newsletters. So I have a whole training on that too. If you guys are interested, just look at the YouTube playlist that's linked in the KV Core training emails for that. All right. Let's see. I did mention the behavioral automation, but I do want to mention that again. If you go into this all marketing place, there is a place where you can just straight up turn off behavioral automation for everybody. I know some people don't like that idea. You can also see the criteria that it uses to send alerts to people. So if the lead revisits your website after 14 days, if your lead visits the website 5 times in 7 days, if they view a property, or if they view 5 properties in the last day, if they view 10 properties in the last week, if they view one property 3 times, and then if they favorite a property. Then you can also see what the emails and texts say. So it sends an email when the lead visits the website after 2 weeks. Hi, I'm glad you were able to spend a bit of time on my site again. It looks like you're doing a few different home searches. I'll research your areas and set up property alerts to keep you on top of the market. Is there anything specific you're looking for? And then the text is kind of the same idea. Thanks for visiting the site. Are you focused on any specific areas or property types? So you can also edit these too if you want. You can totally change what it says. Or like I said, you can also toggle all of these off. So just turn off all the blue, make it gray, and those will completely be turned off for everybody in your contacts. Okay, so here's a practical and easier tool to use. A lot more automated, a lot less work involved. It's kind of a set it and forget it tool, which is market reports and listing valuations. So you can have these set up for everybody or just specific people. And if you want to do it for everybody, that's again, we would come into the marketing and go to all marketing, which is where we are now, and click on this market report and valuation settings. So here, for the listing valuation, this is just an email that potential sellers would get with just basically the value of their home based on MLS data. And so when you add an address to the lead, or if the lead fills out the home valuation on the website, it'll just save their address in there. And so they'll automatically, if they do it on your website on the sell page, it'll just automatically keep sending them every month their listing valuations. So you can toggle this on so that way every time you add an address, it's just automatically going to set up a listing valuation email, and that will just set it and forget it tool where you can just know they're getting a touch from you every month about the value of their home. You can also do the market reports. So you can toggle this on that way, like if you have a lead that searches a specific area, so say they're just searching for homes in Fort Wayne, if you toggle this on, it'll automatically set them up on a market report to receive like number of homes sold, average list price, average sold price, the number of listings that are active in Fort Wayne or whatever area that they're searching in. So you can have that automatically go out. And then if a lead sets up a search alert, like they just want to be alerted of new listings with 3-bed, 2-bath in Fort Wayne, kind of like you would on Collaboration Center and Paragon. If they have that set up, then you also can toggle this on to automatically have a market report created based on the search alerts that they are adding. So that's how you would do it, kind of blanket to all of your leads. Now, if you want to do it case by case basis, kind of see what's going on with each lead, you can also do it on an individual basis by going into your Smart CRM. And then my contacts always take so long to load because I have so many. Okay, so you go into your contact here, and then over here on the right is all of your actions. So we're going to go down below, and then you can add market reports, which I have a couple set up. I'm just gonna delete because I don't need those in there. So market reports, you'll just click add and all you have to do is search for a location. This can be a zip code, a city. Some neighborhoods will come up. I find not all of them do. I think the newer ones don't tend to come up. But cities, zip codes, and counties as well. You can do entire counties. So you just type that in here and select, and then you can choose whether you want it to send every 7, 14, 21, or 28 days. I would probably do 28, just so it's kind of every month for everybody. I wouldn't really recommend 7, but you never know what people are wanting to look at. So you just click add and then it'll send one immediately and then it will continue to send based on the frequency that you choose. So that's just another nice email. This is what it looks like. Although this is viewed in a web browser, all of this information does come directly to their email, but this is kind of what it looks like in their email. So the number of homes for sale, average home price, average sold price, price reductions, what was sold in the last 30 days, recent listings, the most expensive listing, and then popular listings. So that's a nice tool to do. And then same with the listing valuation. So you could come in here and let me exit this out. Okay, so you come in and add and just type in their address. And then unit number, if that's applicable, save, and then it'll send one right away and then send one every month. And this is just based on MLS data. Oh, wow, that really increased since the last month, which I don't know, now that my house is burnt down. I don't think that's accurate at the moment. Okay, so was there anything else in here? Oh, search alerts. So you can also add search alerts. Either right here on the left, you can add, or it brings you to this alerts tab up at the top. So this would take place of the collaboration center in Paragon. And you can pretty much do everything that you could in Paragon with this. And the nice thing is that it leads people back to your website instead of viewing all the information on Paragon. Just a nice extra little touch there since it leads to your website. Now, I don't know that the search criteria here is as advanced that you can get in MLS, but for your basic like 2-bed, 3-bath, X amount of square feet, this is pretty good for that. So you can make the title of whatever you want it to be, whether it be the client last name or you just put their basic criteria in the search alert. Whoops. And then the subject line, it can be dynamic, which will show like based on the top search results, like new listing, 3-bed, 2-bath in Fort Wayne, or you can make it a specific subject line, listings from Judy, or whatever you want it to say. And then you can choose ASAP. So as soon as a new listing hits with that criteria, it'll just send. You can have it send weekly, whatever you think the client would want. And then you can copy yourself in, you can copy the spouse in, anybody involved, you can copy them in the email too. And then you just go down and choose your criteria. So your area, all of their needs. There's a couple other options like pool. You could make one specifically for open houses that are happening. All kinds of stuff. Stories, furnished, allows pets. Those would probably be for more of leases. And then you can add keywords in here too. So whatever, if there's like a kind of a more advanced thing, you could put keywords that it'll search the description of the properties and have those properties included in this list too. So then you can either set the alert to send based on your frequency or save and send it immediately. and then it will continue to send whatever frequency you chose at that point. Okay, cancel. I don't want to save this. Let's get out of here. Okay. So, there's other things you can do, like, for example, let me go back in here. Like if you get a seller lead, I would actually, for every seller lead, do a core present for them. And I've done more advanced trainings of core present, but I do just want to show what this tool does. Judy, I think you're familiar, but I'm just going to show for anybody, rewatching the recording. This is a great tool to use for all of your sellers. Now, the first step of this tool is to enter the address, but since my client, which is myself, had the address in there already, it just immediately went into building CMA. So the computer grabs matches, which at the current radius that it's at, there's no matches in here. So for more rural areas like this, you'll probably have to expand the criteria a little bit in order to find some stuff. So right now it defaults to 1 mile. So I don't know if I go 2 miles out. Okay, so there's some matches right here. So you just have to look for these little location guys. Let me go 4 miles out. Okay, so there we go. Getting into Busco, there's a little more matches. So I have 4 matches for solds, 1 match for pending, and 2 matches for active. Now, you can see there's a lot more little location icons. So the solid color ones are exact matches. Maybe not exact, but enough to where it's like, okay, this is pretty much like my house because it's only 4% smaller. Or like this one here, it is 19% larger, but it does have the same number of beds and baths. The other location ones that are grayed out, it'll show you like this is 25% smaller. This one here is 39% larger, but you can look at the more info tab and kind of see what exactly the house is, if it makes sense to add that to your comps, and so on and so on. But this is a pretty good number with having a total of 7 matches anyway. So then from here, you can click next to build your CMA, or just go in and skip to the presentation. But these are really nice for even brand new leads for sellers, because you can send this through email. So then you can see, like, look at the comps, you can look at the average of all the comps right here in a list. And this is what the client would see too. So they would open up their presentation. This is all clickable stuff. And you can even add your own price. Where is that? Oh, right here. They move stuff around. So you can enter your price, what you think the home would be worth, or you can leave that out and leave that up to a phone conversation or an in-person conversation. But this is just nice to use for seller leads because it really creates a great presentation. I'm going to click up here in the top, and goes through like why I'm the right fit. Oh, they even updated it. I haven't seen this yet. This is awesome. It looks so much better than the last one. That's awesome. Okay, sweet. So yes, goes through all the marketing stuff, all the Remax brand stuff, and then what's my home worth, goes into that with all the comps in here. Now, just a side note, if you want to use this for an in-person listing presentation, you can switch it to PDF and just print it. And then it prints, let's see. Sometimes it shows it and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm always so confused about that. It does print the individual comps too. So it has like the individual properties. Right here, it's still showing my clickable views, but I think once you actually go to physically print it out, instead of showing like this, it's going to have all of these individual properties printed. So yes, this is a great tool. There's even more that you can do as far as like the emphasis, the theme, the mode, all kinds of stuff that I've gone through. And I will do a training specifically on this one tool because there's so much that you can do with it. But when you click present and share, I do just want to show how you can email the presentation straight to the client. Why can I not email? Oh, I have to add my client, of course. So you just save it and add the client. And then there we go. And then you can email it, you can download and print it. You can even add a video link in here. So you could just record a quick video kind of explaining the different comps and how it all works, what you think about it, and then just send everything to their email. So that is a very powerful potential seller tool for your seller leads as well. But that is pretty much the gist of keeping in contact with your clients. The smart campaigns are super, super powerful. So I highly suggest everyone to at least take a look and see what it is currently doing, and then see if you want to change anything and customize all the campaigns in there. But as always, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me, hannah.hahn@remax.net, and I'm always